and welcome to episode 206 of the DayZ Podcast. No guest this week because we are just going to be going deep on one thing and one thing only: King Alex's ass. I'm joking. I just thought that in the first 30 seconds, if I got the demonetization over and done with, we didn't have to worry about it for later on in the show, guys. Alex, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Not too bad. Jesus, mate, that fucking voice and that mic. Oh, Jesus, we might be going deep on you later. Cobra, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, very good, mate. Been an interesting week, that's for sure.
It has been. It has been. We've got so much to talk about on the show, and looking at chat there. Solo Clone saying got a lot of questions. We got a lot of questions. Hopefully, we've got the answers, but we've got so much to talk about, folks. But before we get any further, I just want to give everyone a reminder. Make sure. Boydie, make sure you've got the Streamlabs bot running because we are starting to get organised for our Christmas show, folks, and we will be giving away one of the awesome limited edition Frostline collectors packs, which is the backpack, the little glass figurine, and a whole pile of other things. I think they're valued at €189. So yeah, they're worth quite a bit. If we can get some more stuff as well in the lead up to it, we'll be adding that in there. But simply by watching the show live, by becoming a channel member on YouTube, a Twitch subscriber, or tipping the team, you will earn pod bucks, is what we call them here. Like you can see there with Dorkwing, he's got 2,876. You can give each other pod bucks and all the rest of it. There's a whole pile of different things you can do to earn them. And yeah, we will be doing our usual Christmas show where we give back to the community that supports us. And yeah, it's going to be a good show. Going to be a very, very good show. But let's get back to the topics at hand. So we've got a number of topics. I wanted to get one of them over and done with. So we can just address it. I don't think we need to spend too long on this, but there was a lot of upset people throughout the week who didn't get invited. And Cobra, what's your take on it, mate?
This is a bit of a difficult one for me because, funny enough, Alex and I have just been talking about this. The DayZ team, for whatever reason, decided to drop the entry for the access to, I think it was about over 1,000 or 1,000 kind of followers or subs or whatever. And that kind of opens up a massive, massive content creator market there for people to come and join. I can't give you the exact figure of how many were invited in total. It was an awful lot. But there's with every kind of early access, there's always going to be some people who don't get it and don't, for whatever reason, meet the requirements, whatever those final decisions were made upon. I'd actually go the other way. I think this will be a bit controversial. I'll probably get a load of grief for this, but I'd go the other way. I think maybe there may have been, probably should have been less, possibly, people invited due to some of the game styles that we've seen the last few days, but I'm sure Alex will have his own view on that. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I agree, mate. I think the cutoff was too generous, in my opinion, for content creators. I think 1,000 subscribers or 1,000 followers on Twitch is too low. I think it should have been. You can quite easily get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube putting out a few shorts. I think it should have been a lot higher. Possibly 10K, maybe more. Maybe week one is just the big names. Matt might be a bit empty, but I'm sure you can find 45 full-time DayZ content creators out there.
I mean, yeah.
And then maybe week two drop it out. But I think some of the people I've run into probably aren't showcasing the event the way. If I was BI, I would want them to be showcasing it.
I was going to say exactly the same because I've been on there every day bar day one. Streamed about 30 odd hours. I've had a great time. We've got loads of great positive stuff to talk about around Frostline for sure in a minute. But what I won't mention the servers in particular, but what I've seen today, I kind of think, look, if you want to promote the map, people and their stream communities want to see the map. They want to be able to explore. And I think when you then see a load of PvP stuff, which we all love to PvP at times. But my question would be this. Yes, we like a bit of action in our streams. Yeah, of course we do. It's great for a little bit of action here and there. But on the release of a big old map, surely you want to be able to see and show your communities all of the areas you can get to so that they go, do you know what? This looks so good, all these different areas. I'm definitely buying the DLC. That's my take on it. What do you reckon, Boydie?
I think that maybe they should have just had tiers of server, where a bit like they've done with some other games and events in the past. For as much as people like to be able to play and play their own way, I think there should have been a server for people, particularly in the higher pop areas, like what Scale Speed just said there. I've been playing on the Aussie server, and it's been a fucking ghost town. But that suits me because I'm more than happy to just explore and occasionally bump into someone, and that scares the living crap out of me every time. But other people want fast and furious action. Many of the creators, even the big guys who would easily meet the criteria you guys are suggesting, they play for chaos. They play to just kill people. So I don't think that would have minimized it. Sure, there would have been a bit less, particularly the, no doubt there are people who are using this as an opportunity to, we'll call it network, to, oh my dear, did I just bump into insert name of massive DayZ content creator? What a surprise. Oh, have you got someone with you? Bang. Oh, wow, I don't know what happened to old mate over there. And I know of a case like this that has apparently happened. I'm not going to name names, but I know of a case that did happen along those lines. But that's still going to happen regardless. I think the player numbers have warranted, like, even the question of, did they need to invite more people, to be honest, to get these servers truly pumping? Orcs has just sent me a couple of screenshots. We've got, if I can share my screen, hopefully this won't freeze up because we all know me and my lovely internet connection. But these are the stats of the player numbers right now. Status dead, 1 of 45, 9 of 45, 1 of 45, 3 of 45, 21 of 45, 45 of 45, and then the Aussie server dead.
But this is the thing, though, Boydie. This is what I'm getting at, right? Yes, I think there is enough servers to go around. But what we're saying is this. I love a bit of PvP, as you know, right?
Yeah.
I've got, in my streams, we always get interactions. We always get into some kind of fight. But, and to be fair, I've gone around the entire Frostline map. I've managed to cover all of it, bar 1 or 2 of the islands that are far, far, far away. Other than that, we've been to every island. We've been everywhere on the map. We've been to the volcano. We've been all over the show. So my point is, though, I personally think, surely, if you're going to promote a great brand new map like Frostline definitely is, surely you want the communities to see as much as they can around the map. Because let's face it, when it releases, we're all going to be PvPing. Everyone can see that every day of the week for the next 5 years. But surely you want to see, you need to be alive for long enough.
This comes into how the event was run. And pretty much it was just a invite event and then do what you want. If they'd actually had more controlled events with, specific goals, such as, maybe a PvP style event or a first to find this sort of event, they could have controlled what happened more in that respect. Like, as it is, we've already got, we had that question from Solo Clone earlier on. He asked the question, had they said to us that there's things we're not allowed to do or go or so on? No, that's not the case. If that is, I missed that in the agreement when I joined. But I've just been exploring anything and everything I can find.
Well, we're not allowed to talk about the alien.
You fucking idiot. Now I've got to fucking delist the video. All the snowmobiles, fucking Archie. But if they'd done something like that, but is that what people would have wanted? And the amount of work that has to go into just something like that. So it's you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. As we've seen with if anyone's ever watched the videos of the OTK Rust server back in the day when my boy Stimpy went on there with a few others and just caused absolute fucking chaos and madness. Yeah, King Alex, you're shaking your head because some people are going into a server like this with their objective and others are going in with another objective. And this is essentially at its core, it's the same old argument we hear time and time again, that when you have groups of players who normally don't interact, starting to interact, egos get bruised, people's stories get ruined for their stream, and then you end up with, the classic line of, "Oh, you're just one of those DayZ players," or in Stimpy's case, "You're one of those Rust players." And that's essentially what it boils down to, unless you're going to put more controls in over the way people are joining the servers, a no KOS server or something like that, which then becomes a shit fight to manage. You need constant admins online. It's DayZ at its core. You just never know what's going to happen. It sucks. Absolutely. And for a marketing event, it's questionable if this was the best. I personally, I'm kind of down with it. It's created some interesting moments. Alex, go for it.
I think there's a little bit of confusion here reading chat and what we're talking about. We're not saying there shouldn't be PvP and kill on site. We're saying some of the things people are doing would be seen as scummy. And obviously we're not going to go into details and we're not going to name names, but let's just say a lot of these people who have come in from chats, we've had offline, have been doing some unscrupulous things to try and rub elbows or get their name out there, or we're not saying that killing on site is shit and you shouldn't be doing it, and we're not saying PvP is shit and you should be doing it. What we're saying is, I think the barrier was a little too low, and as a result,
when you get
some
this
people,
many big name people together,
they're going to attract
things that are happening outside the normal, what would happen on a normal DayZ
That's what
server.
We're talking about,
Like I alluded to, of, oh, wow, chat. Funny running into you, Mr. Big Name, over 10 million bloody streamers. Oh, someone's with you already. I'll take care of that. Kapow! Now it's just me and you.
Well, we had an interesting one. Myself and Alex teamed up on one of the days. When was it, Alex? Day 2 or day 3?
2, dude. Yeah, day 2.
Day 2. This we've got an interesting story to tell you. So obviously we had quite a lot of people involved in the live. Obviously, Lad popped in as well. Obviously, you were there at some point, Boydie. I think there was several others there from the DayZ to whatever else. But we we had managed to get over to one of the Western Islands, and we'd spent some time meeting up, got ourselves together, pitch black, no one about, and all of a sudden, Alex takes one to the face. I run around to a position, can't find the guy. I have no idea who it is. And I'm thinking, what has just gone on here? I end up bumping into two other streamers, two female streamers. I won't mention their names on here. They're quite well known. And we had probably one of the best adventures. Unfortunately, Alex was sacrificed. But we had
so in other words, what happened? You realised there was a couple of girls there, and Alex was cutting your grass, so you killed him. So you got the girls to yourself.
Yeah. It was. I'll tell you who it was Salty and Billy. We, they were just funny, and it was a funny little thing if they're watching or if they see this at some point. I could have killed both of them right when I first met them. I raised my weapon. And I heard them in chat, in game, talking because they weren't on Discord. And I was like, hold on a minute. They're 10 meters away. They can't see me. Hold on a minute. Let's talk first. I had my gun on them and we had this little conversation, this little dodgy conversation. And then we went, bollocks, let's just run together, and went to one of the bunkers. I got to admit, it was one of my most enjoyable times in the last 3 or 4 days.
Glad I provided you that entertainment, mate.
Mate, I thought it was quite funny in the end, Alex, to be fair.
Yeah, it was quite entertaining. Yeah, that's the last time I ever get immersed. I was looking at the fire, looking how beautiful it was.
He was.
Boom! I was back on the coast.
Headshot, mate. Headshot.
That's what we love about DayZ. That's what we love about DayZ.
But yeah, look, I don't want to talk too much more about this. It does suck when you miss out, and I get that. But it is what it is, and we've just got to try to move on and embrace the challenge that is this map, which brings us to our next topic, the temperature and cold resistance. Now, this sort of ties in with what Solo was just saying in chat there, that this is a hardcore map. They really, really have upped the ante with the difficulty level of just surviving in this game. For those of us who are part of the master race, the PC crowd, it's not really that challenging per se, because most of us have all played Namolsk. So well used to the need to have constant fires and all the rest of it. But the big difference is that there is now no frost resistance. With Namolsk, for you console players, over a period of time, as you stayed alive longer, you slowly built up a soft skill, which was frost resistance or cold resistance, which basically made you nigh immune to the cold. You still had to worry about frostbite and things like that, which is not a feature of Sakhal and the Frostline DLC, surprisingly. If an item of clothing got wet, you ran the risk of getting frostbite, which was a permanent hit to your health. You couldn't cure it. You were stuck with that percentage of your life lost, which I thought the frostbite was a fantastic addition to the game, because it really put the onus on taking care of your character, or you got a permanent disadvantage over everyone else. So thank you for the subscription there, Xvanthus. I really appreciate it, buddy. But yeah, still with this, there's been a lot of people talking about it being too hard. I don't see it myself, but I am survival autistic. I love this, and I literally, I think after my first two characters died, one to heavy metal poisoning and the second one to the flu, I went, right, okay, embrace the suck. Let's make sure we are well and truly prepared. And I think I spent 3 to 4 hours just up the north end of the top island, just farming loot and fishing and getting myself to full hydration, to full food, getting the best gear possible. Firefighting gear appears to be that by the look of it, because it doesn't get wet and it's got the best insulation. And now it's very, very minimal, the risk to me. But a lot of other people aren't liking it. What's your experience been, Alex?
Yeah, I think it's too easy now. They're giving you the knife straight off the bat. It's fucking easy, mate. In all seriousness, though, I think it's. I started out and I thought maybe it's a little bit easier. It's a little bit similar to the Namolsk when I first started out. Now I think it's a little bit easier than the Namolsk. I think in terms of survival, like you said, you don't have the frostbite. So long as you just keep hopping from fire to fire. I can see for the longevity there needing to be some change with either frost resistance or the higher insulation having a buff, which means you lose your heat buff slower to reduce that amount of fire. Because, as we spoke about, a couple of people in my chat were saying, how many times you're going to have to make a fire, blah, blah, blah. I don't mind it. It doesn't bother me, but for some people it is going to irritate them. Like we spoke about before, a lot of people spawn in Chernarus, head up Northwest Airfield, get kitted, get NBC, hit the toxic zones. They're all about go, go, go. You can't do that on this map. If you just spawn in and leave the coast straight away, you're going to be in a world of hurt. I mean, I know the Running Man's put up a video today where he did exactly that, and think how many hours he's got in the game, and he found himself in quite a sticky situation, which I think he probably only just got out of by the skin of his teeth, with all of his hours. If you just go for it, you're going to be in a bad way. But I will say it does add an interesting dynamic to it. I was quite geared. This was on stream. We were fishing to get some food and get a bit of temperature on the go. Somebody pushed me from behind. I downed them, got a bit messy. There was a third party involved. And at that time, I was blue no temperature. I was flashing red food, and we'd been chunked by the temperature. And I was like, if I get tapped now, I'm dead. Like, if I get hit once, I'm dead. That plate carrier is not going to solve me, So it adds an interesting dynamic where I had to back off, cook up some food, get myself warm again, sort of recock, realign, re-engage, and it added a whole new dynamic to that PvP experience that we all know that I haven't had to do for a long time, like early in the mouse.
Cobra, what about you?
Well, for me, I actually tried to fact find quite a bit on here. I found the survival. I didn't once die of any kind of toxins, any disease, and that's in 4 days worth of playing. I did have the heavy metal disease for a brief time, and let me explain this. It may change on the 15th on release for the full version, but what I found was once you get heavy metal poisoning, and I got it through drinking water from the snow and whatever else. If you drink clean water within 10 to 15 minutes, without taking any pills, your metal poisoning, I guess it depends on how much water you've drunk that contains the poisoning. Mine was gone within 10 minutes, literally 10 minutes. It literally just went. In terms of the full survival aspect, now look, there's an easy way of surviving on this map. I've worked it out roughly to around about 7 to 9 minutes from the second you spawn in as a freshie. Alex has mentioned you get your knife, so that's helpful. 7 to 9 minutes I found. You need to get a fire going and you need to fish. And if you do that, and that's quite easy to do, i.e. you can get a fire going straight away. In terms of fishing, obviously you need a hook. You can craft a hook from a little stick. So that's good. And then you just need to cut up rags times 12, 6 and 6 to 12 to make a rope to then get a long stick and fish. And if you do that within the first 10 to 15 minutes, I found you get 4 to 5 fish under your belt, cooked up. If you can survive that long, the only then issue is water. So fish themselves, fillets of fish now, used to give you on any other map 3 arrows up, 2 to 3 arrows up in terms of water supply. It only gives you 1 to 2 now. So the water is an issue. Now, finding the wells on here is also an issue, and it's going to take a bit of time for people to understand. Now, you can run up the dirt paths, and at the end of the dirt paths, there is in settlements. Once you know what they look like, then you will be fine. How I survived when I didn't know, and I purposely didn't bother asking any questions, checking it on Google, anything like that. I didn't know what the new water wells looked like. So I wanted to find it blind. So how I survived was finding cooking pots. And one of the helpful things I found here, which they'll probably change on the 15th, was cooking pots generally, if they were spawned in rather than player used already, contained frozen water. So whack that on the fireplace. There's your water supply for the next 20 minutes, half an hour. However, having said all of that, water is a constant problem on here. All of the ponds are frozen. I did have a chat with Lad, which he couldn't elaborate on too much on one of my streams around should we not have or are we going to have, shall we say, are we going to get that pickaxe tool that can break through the ice of the ponds because all the ponds are frozen? That would be helpful in terms of fishing further inland, and I'm sure that something may or may not, I'm not sure if I can say that, may or may not happen at some point. But all in all, the survival aspect I found very easy. So as long as you do those simple things first, you will survive generally for quite some time. So yeah.
This guy is fucking show off.
Oh, just give him some facts, mate. Just give him some figures. There you go.
The facts are low.
Once you take that bit of time, like they're saying, their cooking pots, they're brilliant. And from what I can tell, the water that's in them, because they come frozen, is good to drink once you defrost it. So
Yes.
they're basically a must-have. It is curious how you can store items inside a frozen block of ice, but we'll you know, what is it? Something belief on that point. But
You're speaking French again.
There's a word that I
suspension of disbelief. Is that what you mean?
That's it. There we go. Suspension of disbelief.
Suspended disbelief. Oh, fucking hell. You've been drinking, buddy.
Mate, it's 6 a.m. Give me a fucking break. I'm only on my third cup of coffee. But
we can say your third beer.
But yeah, it's awesome. It is a real challenge. Spend a bit of time fishing somewhere safe. Get yourself a bunch of fish in. They seem to be quite sizable in the amount of food they actually give you, and just spend that bit of time. Which going back to what we're talking about at the beginning, I know there's going to be a lot of content creators who aren't going to want to do that. That's not their style. That's not what their audiences want, what their audiences are used to. So I do worry that there's going to be a bit of a turning against the map and the DLC soon. But give it time, and the community service will be able to pop up and create ones that you enjoy that are a bit easier than the hardcore nature that this is being. But just spend some time on the gear. That's one of the big things I've noticed. Like most of the pictures I've seen of people, they're wearing the classic old school clothing. And as cold as this map is, particularly if you get a bit of dampness, like I switched out to one of those down jackets. No, they're not water resistant like the firefighters. So I went back to the first fire station I could find and went straight back to the firefighters. Yeah, I'm losing visibility. Like I'm not as concealed anymore. But it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make for what I see as more important. The chances on the server I'm on of someone seeing me are minimal. The chances of me getting cold are all the time there. So risk versus reward. If you want to dress flash and look at a certain style, you're going to have to take hits to your temperature, and it really does make a big difference. There's a lot of different gear. There's the glasses. I've been playing around with them. You've got those ski goggles, different lenses on them, the gloves, the boots, everything. You've just got to constantly be aware of what's wet, what's not. Take the time, light a fire, dry out your clothing if you need to. And yeah, I can see where a lot of them are coming from, but I personally like the difficulty that they've introduced. And there is room. As for the frost resistance, I've been discussing that with people, and as good of a soft skill as it is, because it does add that value to your life, that if you die, you've lost all that frost resistance you've garnered. I encourage the game devs to add more items. So you're going for a mechanical frost resistance using clothing, and that stuff should be rare and very valuable, like the firefighters gear. But that's a sacrifice you make as well, because that shit weighs a ton, an absolute ton. It's very heavy, so it hits your stamina.
Like a snowsuit. A snowsuit would be perfect.
Yeah,
put it on, you've instantly got 2 buffs.
And Alex, there are some military equipped gear that is amazing in that nature, isn't there? Like you just said, a snowsuit. I've got no idea what the fuck that is. Sounds like a bloody snowman outfit to me. But there's a lot of stuff out there that could be high-end, top-tier loot that you strive to get, that you're not just going into this bunker to get the guns, but you're going in to get the high-tier military loot that gives you those buffs. Makes you basically immune.
I think that's quite important for this map. I think clothing is more important than top-tier guns. I really do. Also, isn't that the whole point? I mean, Officials is supposed to be the hardest version of the game, and that opens up a market on community to change things like...
That's a brave sentence.
I think it's all good. I think it'd be interesting. There's going to be a load of community servers suddenly changing all of this. There'll be weather differences. There'll be frost, bloody heat, all kinds of stuff. Difference, edits all over the place. I do think the official side of life should be as this map is. I really do.
Alex, anything to add, mate?
Yeah, I think I slightly disagree with Cobra, but I think we're on the same wavelength. That I think you're going to have a lot of people on community who are going to make it even fucking harder. I think there's going to be people. I think there's going to be people within the community that are like, hardcore, I'll fucking show you hardcore. But yeah, other than
Yeah,
that,
but I love
think
that.
we're on the same
I
level.
love that, mate. I love that. Go do it. Go do it. Bring it on. DM me. I'll come over. We'll have a go.
I think there's certain maps fit certain purposes. Namalsk was a great map for content creators because it was small. You would run into people. For content creators, that was great. You were pretty much guaranteed an interaction almost every spawn. You know, with all the fucking smoke wannabes, you know, Namalsk was perfect for that. That doesn't mean that's what the player base wants, though. You know, Chernarus is still the fucking gold standard for maps for many people. And I think while this map might not be the best one for content creation or the best map for streaming, I think this will be a very, very popular map with the players themselves. I think, especially those guys on console, I don't think they're going to think any of this bullshit nonsense of our code. I think they are going to absolutely be besotted with this map.
There's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of great stories and stuff like that, and there's a lot of potential behind this map. Now we touched on this a little bit, or Cobra mentioned it, but there's some new sicknesses, and also fix that typo. Carnivore meat. So a few changes to surviving on this map. The first one being something I mentioned, the heavy metal poisoning. Then there's the increased severity of the flu, and the carnivore meat. I think that's the three changes. Is that right, Cobra?
Yeah, that's what I've seen. And also, don't forget the wolf side of it. If you're going to kill wolves and eat them,
carnivore meat.
Yeah. But I mean, in terms of rabbits and other animals, I think all that's all safe. I've not had any issues with any of that.
That's because a rabbit's not a carnivore, is it?
No, but you know, there's no issues with any other animal as far as I'm aware. Anyway.
Right. Yeah. It's just.
I thought they might have been like for a fox.
Well, the next topic is food, so we'll get onto them a bit more. But we want to focus on the actual sicknesses here. So the heavy metal poisoning is a serious one to be aware of. On my very first life, I was not aware of the well locations and all the rest of it. That's all stuff I started learning. There are some tricks there to finding them. But if you eat the yellow snow, that's what I'm just going to keep on calling it. Basically the clock starts ticking for you for how long you've got left to live. It's essentially the same as like a toxic zone in DayZ. Once you get that sickness, if you don't have the meds to cure it, you've got a ticking countdown. I'm not sure exactly how long it is, but it's not the greatest length of time. You'll start dying fairly quickly if you can't find those meds. Mark's lied to me and said that they're fairly common. In all the hours I played, I finally found one container of them, and it had 5 of them in there. So they are definitely a high priority item to have on you, because not only do they cure the sickness eventually, I'm not sure. Have either of you had it and cured it?
Yes.
Okay,
I cured it without the tablets. No, I cured it without the tablets.
The heavy metal poisoning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So I got heavy metal poisoning by drinking the snow type water conversion. It was quite clear I had it, and the second I finished drinking, I had it. I was getting deaf every few minutes. I drank a little bit of water, clean water, and within 10 to 15 minutes it had gone. I didn't have any tablets, nothing.
Were you at full hydration and energy?
I was on yellow water at the time, yellow hydration, and remained at yellow hydration. So until I found a well. So there you go. Whether that's going to be something that changes or not, I should imagine it probably will. But that's what I did day 2 on the European servers.
So Marx has jumped in chat and he said that's somewhat accurate, Cobra. There is a threshold for the poisoning. Just as long as you're under the limit, your body will fight the disease.
This is it as well.
There is a limit to how poisoned you are and how effective you will fight off it. So you must not have drank much. If you down a cooking pot like I did, you are fucked.
Yeah. So that was exactly right. So I downed quarter of a cooking pot, immediately got it, When soon as that symbol came up, I stopped drinking, and then my body started to fight it.
Whereas when I got it, I drank a full water bottle.
Yeah.
I actually do remember. I think Marks was in my chat and said something similar. So thank you for that, Marks. Thank you for spotting that, Alex. I can't even see that comment.
It's quite far up now. It popped up earlier when Cobra briefly mentioned it earlier.
So that's a very, very important thing. So maybe the key there is a bit like when you've got cholera, only take small sips, just enough to stave off red hydration and taking damage. And because that muffled sound, my God, when I got that, I thought my game was broken.
Yeah,
I logged out, I logged back in again because it was going on and then off and then on and then off, and then it stayed on. I was thinking, is this just a bug or what? I got my chat to clip it, and it was borderline.
It's cool, man. I really like it. I think
you
it's
do.
really
I hated
cool.
it.
Oh,
but
no,
I've got hearing problems, so maybe that's why it.
For me, it's so new. It's like a new thing we've not experienced before, and I think it kind of made it hit home just how much trouble we were in when I'm like, because we were running with somebody and she was going, I can't hear anything. All of my audio is gone. I was like, oh, right. And then a couple of seconds later, I couldn't hear anything either. And I was like, oh, we're in deep water here. And it's like I really liked it. I thought it was a really neat touch.
But I'll tell you what, though. Yeah, no, I agree. But the best thing about it, I found, was that I had no fucking idea. I had absolutely no idea until I drunk it. And even when I drunk that, I noticed the symbol came up. I didn't actually know exactly what it was to start with. And then I realized via my chat as well, we both came to the same conclusion very quickly. You've just got metal poisoning. So I had no idea. And I thought at that point, that's it. My life's over. And I was quite surprised, quite frankly, that 10 minutes later, hadn't drinking no more other than a little bit of clean water that it had gone. So that's something that, you'll find out with experience in game. And I'd rather find out that way than actually be told. So it worked out quite nicely.
How do you get it? You just eat the yellow snow or drink the yellow snow. Stick it in a pot, and once it defrosts, you'll be able to drink it. And it's a challenge. And that audio, oh my God, it fucking did my head in. But it was definitely something new. I just didn't know what was happening. Didn't know that was a side effect of having the heavy metal poisoning. The pneumonia, on the other hand, again, this sort of ties into what we've been talking about, how hardcore it is. If you get pneumonia and it hits the point where it starts damaging you, you're in a lot of trouble. It's a fairly rapid decline. So keeping yourself as healthy as possible, folks. If you've got multis and you're ill, you're low on food and low on hydration, it's possibly worth popping a multi just to get that immunity boost from the flu. Because if you get it and you don't have in your future, you don't foresee yourself getting a lot of food and water very quickly, you don't want to get the flu, do you, Alex?
No. Yeah. It can really mess you up. So we've been trying, when we're sort of more inland and it's a bit more risky to make fires. Speaking with chat and my community, we've been constantly making it a real high priority to keep that food and water as high as possible and just keep popping a multi to stave it off until we can get a fire on the go. Because you really don't want it. It's quite a nice touch because it's quite realistic. If you get very cold in real life, you'll be all right for a while. But then suddenly you won't be, and very shortly after that, you'll be.
That's a really good point, because a lot of people forget. Like, everyone's heard of the rule of threes. How long can you survive without water? 3 days. But everyone forgets there's one actually before that, and that's how long can you survive without shelter? And this is where the pneumonia comes in. Cold, especially, kills super fucking fast. And what do they say? It's 3 hours. 3 hours without shelter, and you're dead. In some of those extreme colds.
I think it could be even quicker. Yeah, you're right. I can't remember the exact time. It's been a while since I did any sort of extreme cold weather training. But yeah, you're right.
Mate, you live in the fucking UK. You do extreme cold weather training every winter.
No, it's not that bad. It's just miserable. It's just wet. It's not actually that cold. Shit.
Which is why you can't moan so fucking much.
Yeah, pretty much, mate.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is really one of the biggest things of this map. The biggest challenge is that cold. and just how brutal. So you've got, is this stream frost? Fuck no. This stream is spoiler fucking central. Watch at your own fucking risk, people. But yeah, that was rag there and by. I actually really want to know what modders are thinking about what they've seen as well, and what new opportunities this has opened up for them to make stuff for the game as well, because that's a whole separate thing. And I think we need to wait a bit until they all get their hands on it and have had time to work out what they can and can't do. But yeah, the carnivore meat one though, Alex, you had some comments on that before we started.
Yeah, so the carnivore meat, I mean, I've tried to stay away from. I've kind of dipped into the dev streams here and there, but I've kind of stay away from like the heavy mechanics. This is what happens. So I've stayed away from it, and so we've discovered that obviously you can eat the fat. The fat's good to go. You can't eat the meat. However, we ran into somebody, and they told us that if you pop a multi, you can eat the carnivore meat. And we tried it, and yeah, it seems to work. If you pop a multi, you can eat the carnivore meat, and you don't get sick.
Those multis are so OP, aren't they?
I don't know. Yes, so yeah, I was under the impression, like I said, I haven't been in all the dev streams listening to every word at the drop of a penny, but I was under the impression that they weren't going to do that, and that multis weren't going to. And Mark's just put up, said, really? So I'm not sure that's working as intended, but I popped a multi and ate about 4 wolf steaks and did not get the sickness. So I'm not sure, because I was under the impression it wasn't going to do that.
Interesting. I, on the other hand, stayed away from all of that. Didn't bother even eating it. I just went fishing. That's what I did. So I survived off fish and the odd can of beans. The interesting thing also with the food is, by the way, if you've got that insulated clothing on you, then a lot of that food does defrost pretty quickly inside your body, so inside your coat or your trousers. So it only takes about 4 or 5 minutes to defrost, doesn't it? Most of it, like tomatoes and potatoes.
Yeah, I've been having very mixed. So I take it you're the same, Alex?
Yeah, so I think we've discovered a bit of a bug.
Sorry, or what?
A small insect with multiple legs. I think
unintended game feature.
Unintended game feature, one of those UGFs. So yeah, I think we've discovered an oversight, let's say, in the masterpiece that is Sakhal, that you don't seem to be able to cook frozen food. If you put frozen food into your cooking pot, it doesn't cook. If you take it out, put it near the fire, it will defrost, and then you can cook it. Unless you open the tin. So if you have a tin of tuna and you open the tin, it will cook. But if you put it in frozen, unopened, it won't defrost. It's a little bit odd. I can't work out whether maybe I'm just being a bit of a Boydie's favorite word, because I'm, like we said, I'm more on the PvP side than I am a survivalist like you guys. But I know Marx is saying the tin will, but it takes ages. But I've had it in the cooking pot for a whole fire and it's not defrosted. But within 5 minutes of it being in my jacket at full heat buff 3, it's defrosted. So I'm not sure it's kind of working right at the minute. I am being Boydie's favorite word right now. Okay, maybe I am. I'm happy to admit when I'm wrong, but I feel like something's a little off.
I'm being that as well, because I've noticed some inconsistencies with items as well, and yes, also some things that don't happen that I think should, such as I'm a bit like you, Cobra. I've really been experimenting and trying things out. I had 2 heat packs on the go in my pants, and put items in there, and it did not seem to have made any difference to them defrosting.
Right. So I tried the cooking pot with the gas burner, right? It doesn't give you any heat buff at all now on this map. So you can whether you put it in a house, whether you put it outside. So there's another one straight away. We tried this. So I thought, oh, that's all right. We'll get warm. We put this on. No, it doesn't give you anything at all in any position. So again, loads of whether that's intended or not, I'm not sure, but loads of new kind of things if that is the way it's going to be.
Yeah, Marx is saying defrosting eventually takes ages. I'm gonna DM you a clip later, Marx, because I had my food in a cooking pot cooking to defrost it, and the guys we were with were saying it won't work. It had been in there a while, wasn't defrosting. I took it out, I put it next to it, so it was in that sort of heat buff radius, defrosted very quickly, and then I could cook it. So I think I'll DM you, and then maybe you can be like, wind your neck and you don't know what you're on about. But I feel like there might be something slightly not quite working right with that.
I have to get this in here. Why aren't you going to use the feedback tracker, mate?
Because it's for nerds, mate, and I can barely spell my own names.
There you go.
Put it up. Put it up.
I don't know where my camera is. There you go.
Don't use the feedback tracker, folks. It's for nerds.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though. I'll tell you what I actually really like with this, though. We haven't spoke about it yet. All right. The changes in the wording and the color system from cold to chilly to warm to hot. Yep. I love that. I think that is that.
And even when you've got stuff on the fire, you see it go from the frozen to the warm, and it's got the orange box around it, and then once it's hot, it's red. So I love all of that. I do. Alex?
Yeah, it took a little bit of getting used to for me. I accidentally gave, when me and Barnby were running together, I accidentally fed him some raw fish because it wasn't cooked. It had gone red. I was like, oh, it's cooked. Got it out. Gave it to him. He started munching away and he's like, oh, I'm sick. I was like, and then I looked in my inventory and I just had some warm raw fish. And I was like,
fish.
let's go find you a multi, mate.
What does he mean by UAE? UAE?
Oh, use it, please, for the love of God. The feedback tracker. So it did take a little bit getting used to, but I think it's a great addition. I think it's really good.
I love
really
it, mate.
Good.
It's brilliant.
Well, that raises this question. So, carrying a flaming torch, have any of you tried that?
Yep.
No,
it does work.
It does work, okay.
And I believe it will only get you up to 2 heat buff. I don't think I got 3 off the top of my head. But when me, Beans, and Codfather were running, we didn't have the torch. We had the broom. The broom was working. I haven't tried the torch though. So.
Yep.
Yeah, I've not tried that yet.
Okay. But no, food scarcity. It's hard for me to comment because I haven't played on a high pop server yet. I imagine a high pop server where the towns along the coast, which is pretty much where they all are, have been looted dry. I can imagine it would be quite difficult. But that said, you spawn with a knife, and it should be a priority to. There's a lot of rocks, a lot of little stones are spawning as well. So again, this is stuff that maybe some of the non-survival oriented players just don't know or have just ignored in the past. But save that steak knife you spawn with as much as possible, because I'm pretty sure the type of knife does affect how much you get when you fillet fish and stuff like that. So get rocks if you can. Make yourself that fishing rod, cut up all the clothing you can find to get rope if you can't find one, and get fishing ASAP. The hook side of it, I've seen bone spawning. I don't know whether that's normal, but I've seen like stacks of 10 spawning inside greenhouses. So don't forget you can make hooks from bones
and short sticks.
Yep. You can make hooks from short sticks now.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
There's no reason there's no reason not to be able to get straight into fishing to get yourself that food. That's actually a good little change.
I've found quite a lot of jigs as well. Jigs and fishing huts. They seem to be definitely littered along the coast. In terms of food scarcity and fishing, I don't think there's a food scarcity problem. No. I think there might be a time frame issue with not everybody wants to fish as soon as they spawn in, but I don't think there's a food scarcity issue at all. You are given so many tools to get fishing when you start. I just think you need to sort of change your approach the further you move inland. Cobra, you might be able to correct me. I've been wandering blind, no map or anything. I haven't found anywhere to fish in the center of the map.
You won't, mate.
So
it's all frozen.
You have to exactly. So you have to just kind of change your approach. You won't find many animals. I don't think I've seen any animals on the coast. So you'll have to fish on the coast, and then, like my chat were telling me, just deconstruct that fishing rod, get the rope and the jig or whatever in your backpack, and push inland, and then that's when the reindeers, the wolves, they start to pick up. And yeah, reindeer are like, if you kill one of those, you're eating good for days. There's a lot of meat.
I found 2 goats near one of the spawn towns. Killed them.
Oh, you did, right? Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. This is a good point here by New Fryer, because I've seen Toprek, I think, shared a screenshot. He went to a well and he couldn't get water out of it.
Really?
So I don't know if that was a unintended game feature or if the spring froze up, but that would be terrible.
I don't know whether to say this next point, because I don't know if I want it to be fixed. I'm going to say it anyway. It's a UGF. Are you guys aware you can fill up the springs from behind the springs?
No, I hadn't actually tried that.
The spring.
I don't usually come up from behind people, but maybe you being a stalker and all that.
I don't know about that. I'm definitely not believing that one. But when you go up to the spring, if you go around to the rear of the wall on the outside, you can fill up through the wall, which gives you loads of great cover, because they're always in high features. So, Mark, just don't listen to that bit, please. But no, that's you can. Oh, for fuck's sake! Report that one. you can fill up from the back. So that's a nice little feature for you guys until Mark fixed it.
It was.
Can you, mate? You get filled up from the back often, do you?
Oh, I knew this was coming. I knew this was fucking coming.
Look at this guy. He's on form. You're on form tonight, aren't you, mate?
He never stops. My son says to me, "Dad, do you ever stop?" And I'm like, No, I don't. It's just constantly degeneracy feeding into this brain. It takes everything not to just blurt it out. You should have seen the Discord stream I did earlier this week. It was me unfiltered, pretty much. The 10 or so people who were in there with me. I just, all the things I can't say when I'm streaming on YouTube and Twitch, I could say in there. It was so much fun, absolute fun, because pretty much they were all degenerates as well. But yeah. It was great. Amazing Yacht was in there, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Definitely something I'm going to look at doing more of in the future as well. Just little cozy, intimate Discord streams. Get Alex in there. We can fill him up from behind. Okay. I think we ticked everything off on there. That was a really good thing to know about the wood hooks. I hadn't even been aware of that. So that is absolutely fantastic. This one, though, loot table weirdness. Now, I've heard some weird stuff, but probably the weirdest thing I've found is in spawn towns, I've been finding that VSS Asval ammo in toilets, which is usually that's a high-tier ammo. Now, I know there are a lot of changes to the weapons on this map, in that your Western weapons appear to be almost non-existent. I have heard rumors of people having M4s or stuff, but I haven't seen an MP5. I found a DMR mag, so that was interesting. It implies that there may be a DMR somewhere, and we still do have the 308 ammo. But Alex, you actually wanted to talk about this one, so I'll let you take the lead on it, mate.
I did. So I've been going through pure, almost conspiracy theories. You know, the meme of the guy pointing at the map with all the things connecting with my community. I've gone through phases. I've gone through phases where the loot is broken. I've gone through phases where I'm just wrong. And I've gone through phases where the loot is broken. And then now I'm kind of back at maybe it's intended. I started off with thinking there seems to be a lot of police loot in military areas. And I was like, I sent to my chat and we were kind of going on that there seems to be a lot of scorpions, a lot of stuff like this in military areas, a lot of police clothing. Some people in my chat were saying, no, it's because someone's already beaten you and they've swapped their clothes out. And I was thinking, yeah, that's kind of possible, but there's a lot. So then I kind of went on to maybe I'm getting the wrong end of this. Maybe someone has always got there before me and left all their stuff. But then now we've kind of moved on to been speaking to a couple of people in my Discord that perhaps it's intended, because we've got the prison camp. I don't know if any of you guys have been up there yet. They're military buildings, they're barracks, but actually all the Zeds around there, they're all police. And then we kind of got thinking maybe it's a law reason that there's more police stuff than there is military stuff, because Sakhal's only a small island. It's unlikely to have a full force military base there. It would probably more likely have some kind of localized defense force, which should be largely built up of police members and, lower budget weaponry like scorpions and stuff, which would make more sense as to why you only really tend to find higher tier loot in very specific outposts, very obviously military outposts that are combined with the medical effort. So it seems to me like maybe there's a kind of some like law reasons as to why this is happening, and there's not some military. So I've kind of flip-flopped on it. But one thing I will definitely say is there needs to be a reduction in plate carriers and helmets, because there is pretty much guaranteed a military base and a medical base in most spawn towns that I've been along. You walk up the road, you'll find a military base, and there's sometimes 3 or 4 zombies with plate carriers, and I've been alive maybe 20 minutes, so I've got a plate carrier. So I think that needs to be tweaked a little bit. From a chat I had with Marks, I think he might have said that's already been sorted, and that was already aware of. But yeah, it does seem a little weird.
The plate carriers, like I've seen a few of them, but I haven't seen many of the attachments for them. So yes, you could take a plate carrier, but with the reduction in inventory size of everything, which isn't as bad as I've been led to believe it was going to be. But Foxy's saying he found military pouches in a greenhouse on spawn. I have not found a single attachment for the plate carrier. So I'm running a press vest at the moment for the protection, but also for the inventory size, because the slight reduction in size of everything, me being a loot whore, I want as much space. So I have not been inclined to take a plate carrier yet as well. What I do think is you've got to remember there's still that stamina hit you take from taking them. Plus, one of the things that I don't know if, and Alex, I'm going to ask for your input on this, because I know what Kevlar and stuff like that does to you in a hot environment. You sweat like an absolute motherfucker. You just don't stop sweating. You take off your plate carrier at the end of it, and you've just got this massive dark patch of sweat that eventually dries, and you've got this salt from your sweat outline around where you were wearing the plate carrier. What's it like in a cold environment wearing one of those? Is that sweat a bit of an issue for you with staying warm?
Yeah, no, it can be. You're absolutely right, because you will still sweat in a cold environment. If you've got a plate carrier on, you will still sweat. Your top will then get wet. Then you take that plate carrier off. Now you're wearing a wet t-shirt in a cold environment. So it definitely is something to pay attention to. That being said, if you're not sweating, it will create an extra layer. Depending on what you're wearing, the plate carrier, not so much, because it is literally just 2 ceramic plates strapped to you. Something like the ballistic vest, where there's a lot of fabric and sort of Kevlar, would keep you much warmer than a plate carrier. But yeah, you're right. You are right that it will make you sweat, because they are fucking heavy.
But if that's not a element of the game, so that's something. Dude, I love that name. I love that name, paid actor. Who the hell is that?
He's definitely gonna fit in well in it.
That's an awesome name. I'm sorry, that's brilliant. But yeah, but if that's not a mechanic of the game, that eliminates that. So that's potential for them to maybe make it a bit more of a risk to go with the plate carrier by adding, that extra problem. Even if it just increases your dehydration, you dehydrate faster because you're wearing one of them. So it's something that you've got to be aware of. I know that'll probably piss off a lot of the PvP boys, but I personally love the game when it makes you consider the pros and cons of each item before you grab it. Cobra?
I'll move slightly off the loot table itself and talk about the sparseness of the islands.
Yes.
So kind of on the same topic-ish. There is a few odd spawn bits and pieces going on, but then again, I don't dislike that. I think, it's different. So I think a lot of people will probably like that somehow. In terms of the islands, so I've been to nearly all of them now. I've jumped across on the ice sheets. I've had little swims. And I think, hopefully, as time goes on, what I will say is I hope in time carries on, I hope that the islands are populated a little bit more. There's nothing on most of them at the moment, the little ones anyway. So it was a bit of an anti-climax, so to speak, on the little islands. But it was an interesting. We still found stuff out. I mean, there's some interesting terrain over there. What I also found out on the ice sheets was that the lower they were into the water, the harder time I had climbing out of the water onto them. So the taller ice sheets, you could get up. The animation would get you up straight away. So that's something to think about, especially if you're swimming in a certain direction with limited health. You need to know exactly what ice sheets are going to work for you and what aren't. So that was an interesting one. I think there's loads and loads of potential for those islands. So this is going to be very interesting whether or not the dev team decide to add bits and pieces on the 15th. For instance, is there going to be extra bits on those islands? We don't know. Yeah, maybe Marks can answer that, or Lad, or whoever's watching. But the other side of that is, I have no doubt on community servers there will be edits all over the show there. So interesting time.
You can bet your ass that there'll be a black market trader on one of those far off islands that sells helicopters or something like that.
Yeah,
something like that. It's perfect for something like that.
I do agree with what Amazing Yacht there. A bit anticlimactic. Some were totally empty from what they saw. I'm not quite sure why. I would have loved there to have been, some unique locations and a reason, like you guys have said, for you to want to bother to get a boat going, to go out to those islands. But one of the wins of this map, and for me, it's not really a big thing, but it's something that I've just noticed. I love the layout of all the little items around there. Like, there's so many places where previously, if you had very minimal stamina, you really did suffer in PvP against someone if there were fences and stuff like that. But now there's all these little piles of pallets or piles of rubbish and stuff up against fences, and you can just literally walk up them to peek your head over the top to see. It's really lifted the quality of what I imagine the PvP is going to be like in some of those small towns. Have either of you two had any interactions like that with being able to utilize that stuff?
Go on, Alex. Not quite being able to utilize it, but I will say whoever the environmental team on this have outdone themselves. My breath has been took away in every single town I've walked into, like with just little bits of trash in the road. There's broken fences you can sort of get angles through. I haven't been able to I haven't got anything amazing that I've utilized yet, but my breath has been took away severely.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
It is. I mean, I've said it on 3 streams now. As you go inland, and the field environment is so much different to any other DayZ map out there right now. The bit for me that is so scenically beautiful is the snow on the trees as you go up the mountainside. It looks, and this is, I think as graphics get better over the years and have done over the years, I tell you what, I don't think I've seen a better looking environment than that on anything DayZ related ever. I think that for me is a highlight. Yeah,
the view distance really wins out, which kind of ties into something that you were talking about, Alex, with the navigation. Cobra was saying about how it's a bit challenging on this, but you countered it. I'll let you go.
Yeah, I think this is actually one of the easiest maps to navigate, or at least find your bearings if you're lost. We were chatting before stream, wandering through those. For the guys that haven't played it, it's like a kind of a circle. If you can imagine a circle, and on the outside it's like a coastline, and the more you go in, it's more dense woodlands and valleys, and the environment is very different. You can get turned around quite easily in those wood lines, but if you can get to a high feature, you can see for miles, and you've got such a great navigational aid of that volcano. You can see it from miles away, and with the new view distance, if you get up on top of one of those high features, you can see the volcano, which you know is at like kind of north center of the map. You can probably see a coast as well. You can know which direction you're facing very, very quickly. And I think that increased view distance actually makes it a lot easier. And I think it will force people to learn to navigate rather than navigate by the fact they've got X amount of hours and they've memorized Chernarus, or X amount of hours because they've got Livonia.
Yeah.
They're actually going to have to navigate. And it's not difficult. We're not talking, full on, get a compass, march along on a bearing. But you're going to have to use your brain a bit and be like, well, I know that's in the north, and I know that's there. Okay, I must be going this way then. And I think it'll. I do think it's easier to navigate than somewhere like Chernarus because of how far you can see and the features.
I did come back at Alex when he said this, because he and I have a distinct advantage over a lot of people in that both being, get your bingo cards out, folks, in the army previously. Navigation is something that we have done so much of that we can almost do it with our eyes closed. And there's simple little things like, Alex, do you always grab a compass and keep it for as long as you can until you literally have to get rid of it to replace it with something else? I know I do.
Well, not on Chernarus, because you know what I mean. We kind of know what we're doing now. But with this, yeah, I have been. I've been getting my compass out, looking where we're going. On stream the other day, we got one that was so fucked we could only tell which way west was. So we're fucking looking around.
And you've got the blizzards. You've got the blizzards as well, which whilst they aren't full whiteout conditions, like 5 feet in front of you, they still do reduce what you can see in the distance. But I gave Alex a suggestion for a video, and that's how to do a simple resection, they call it, which is basically optimally you want to be using 3 points of reference, but you could do it with just one. If you've got a rough idea of where you are, and when you've got such a big prominent feature like the volcano, and some of the other, the dome is another one, the dome that's up there near the spawn area. If you can see those locations and you could take a bearing to it, then you could roughly get just a line using the in-game map, and then once I Survive comes out, it'll be easier. But you could do a very, very quick resection just with one bearing, and then if you've got two, it basically, if it's hard to explain, but you just draw a line from the feature you're looking at. You take your bearing to it, subtract 180 because these are degrees and not mils. So subtract or add 180, sorry. If it's over 180, you subtract. If it's under 180, you add. And then you just basically draw that line back, and you can just do it in your head even. Just looking at it roughly, using like a clock face and the degrees, and then you'll know you're somewhere along that line there. Then if you've got another item that you can look at, you can draw it from there, and that'll give you an intersecting point, which will really narrow down where you are. 2 is the minimum for a good one. 3 is best practice. But Alex, I hope he's going to do a video on this, which will help a lot of you, because it's such a good tip to know, isn't it, Alex?
Yeah, it is. It is really good. It kind of frustrates me that you can't take actual bearings in this game. Yeah. When you look at like what with Reforger, you can take proper bearings, you can draw on the map. I wish you could do that in DayZ, because I would be making a video on how to navigate properly in a heartbeat. But yeah, you are right. You can do a rough resection quite easily, and like you said, you can do a rough section with just one line, and I think that would probably be a little bit easier because you've got than doing it with 3, because you can't take proper bearings. Basically, if you get a prominent feature like the volcano and you look at it and you look at what is in between you and the volcano, you can say, oh, okay, well, I can see that town, for example, or I can see this high feature. And then if you can draw a line on your map that goes through that volcano all the way through that high feature, you're somewhere on that line. And then, like Boydie said, you add that second line in, that's probably going to tell you where it is. And you just do that in 3 different angles, and where those lines meet, that's where you are. You can't do it.
You don't even need to know how to read a topographic map. No. If you can do that, guys, girls, you will never get lost. If you know how to read contour lines and work out what those the squiggle means, that's a concave or that's convex and all the rest of it, that's getting into a bit more advanced map reading. But just being able to see names of places, major features, carry a map on you, carry a compass, you won't get lost if you've got a couple of brain cells.
So I actually took good advice. I went full Boydie with this. We were talking about I Survived and stuff like that. I haven't, unless I've had a map.
You went full what? Sorry, say the word. Go on, say it.
No, I went full Boydie because you were talking about, I don't use an iSurvive. I'm going to use only paper maps. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I don't want to burn myself out before this comes out. I want this to still be finding things 2 weeks down the line. Unless I've had a map in game, I've not looked at it. I've not been to some of these islands because I haven't had a map to look where the island is when I've got to the coast or something like that. I've just wandered around and looked at things. And if I've got a map, then I've kind of made my way. So for me, it's been really interesting using some of that more basic navigational skills that we were talking about and not using the map, and I think it's kept a lot of wonder in the map still for myself.
That is what we're talking about, Michael. I think that's probably just the civilian term for it. Is it, Alex? Triangulation?
I mean, to my knowledge, when I think of triangulation, that kind of comes to me as like communications between three different relays. But I mean, possibly, yeah, could be.
Because it's essentially the same. You just make it but sometimes you end up with a triangle if your bearings aren't the greatest. But optimally, you want to be having all 3 lines run through them else. But yeah, it's called a resection in orienteering or maybe not orienteering. I've never done orienteering other than in the army, and we just still called it resection. But yeah, the volcano though. Yes. Cobra, you've been to it. What do you think of it?
Okay, I was gonna end the stream today jumping into it, but I decided I got killed beforehand, just as I got there. By a nice little group who, anyway, that's another story. Do you know what? You look at Chernarus, and Green Mountain is the iconic area everybody knows about. If you think DayZ, you think Chernarus, you think Green Mountain. It's the first tower that was on any kind of poster that I can remember going back years. You go to Livonia and you're probably going to be looking at Nadbor or somewhere near there. I think the big landmark for this has got to be obviously the volcano. I think it's going to, in its own way, be iconic for this, for this map for DayZ for a little while. And I think it's really well done. If you go, I think it's on the western side of the volcano. There's a little medical stroke scientific with a couple of army oval barracks kind of set up going on. That's interesting. That's an interesting place. If you open up some of those doors, they look like sheds, but they're actually scientific labs, and you've got some, interesting little bits in there. They all spawn loot. The volcano itself, running up to it, that's interesting. Easily sniped anywhere around that area, so just be careful with that. And my experience from streaming on there, we've been there, I think, once or twice. I think mainly once. I think where it's so open, everyone is sat there camping a bloody thing or close. You're always going to find interactions or someone camping or doing something naughty around that area. So yeah, I think it's done really well. I think they've made that superbly. I really, really like this new map and that being part of it.
I do agree though, Alex, with what Foxy's saying there, that a lot of people are a little bit, the volcano, okay. There's not really much you can do with it. You can climb up it, you can jump in it, but it doesn't explode. It doesn't do anything.
No, I disagree.
No, go.
I think this is going to be it has the potential to be one of the most iconic locations in any DayZ map, purely because me and Barmby went up there day one. We walked to the top with that max view distance setting on, and I didn't even have max view distance setting when I got up there. And Barmby said, "Look how far you can see." And I went, "Oh yeah, the new view distance," and I twiggled with it, and it took my breath away. How incredible it is. And I think
that's the first experience. What about the 10th time up there, the 20th time up there?
And I think just because it doesn't explode doesn't mean it's not cool. Like Cobra said, it's a very prominent feature. People are always going to walk up there, and you've got to think there's one house on the mouse which you can guarantee you can walk to, and you're going to find some fucking shenanigans. It's infamous. Everybody's got a different name for it. Crack house, murder house, kill house, crazy house, mad house. Whatever you want to call it. That one house, the one I mean, I can't think of the life of me what it's beneath now. It's on the western side of the map, but the one I mean, with the tower and the well. It's just a house, but the interactions that house has created, for some reason, that's the house to go to. And I think the Volcano has that case to be. It's huge. People want to walk up there because it looks cool. And I think you're always going to bump into people up there. It doesn't need to explode. I think what happens it doesn't need to do something cool. It's about what that generates. If it generates people walking up there all the time, having a look, shooting at each other, trying to punch each other into the steaming vents to burn them, I think it could create some really great sort of interactions. I think it's an incredible thing.
That's an interesting comment there by paid actor. JMC or other modders will put their gas zone in the future or something for sure. Like, it does leave a lot open for modders to play with. But yeah. And who's to say they're not keeping stuff up their sleeve? I've had that said to me. Do we think the devs are not releasing everything just yet, so that when the unwashed masses or you filthy plebs who didn't get invited, when they finally get their hands on it, there's still some stuff left for them to find?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all good showcasing it, but you've got to have some intrigue left, haven't you? I reckon there's going to be quite a few new bits and pieces none of us have seen on the 15th, I should imagine. I wouldn't be surprised if one or two of those little islands have got something on it come the 15th as well.
Okay.
So
I think you're going to be able to get in the dome.
Yeah,
that disappointed me that you couldn't get into it to begin with. And I found the golf ball dome on the southern island, and again, you couldn't get into that either. So that was kind of sad, but it is what it is. They're nice aesthetic, but I would love more things to be interactable. We're heading into massive spoiler territory now, folks. The bunker.
Right. Okay.
Have either of you done it?
Right. Before you go there, how many bunkers are you talking about? The main bunker?
The main bunker.
Right, because I found another one. So
there you go.
I haven't been to the main bunker. I've been to the one on the west coast you remember the bridge we went to, Alex, where you got shot? If you go to the southwest corner of that island, there's a military and there's another bunker. You don't need two people to open that bunker. You can open it yourself. And there's a big metal door that opens. It has to close for you to open the inner door. You have to have a light source or night vision to be able to see, but there was no loot in it, and you could go downstairs. It wasn't that big. But no, I haven't been to the main bunker yet. Have any of you?
I have not been to the main bunker. However, I think there's a lot more down in that area than I first realized. Yes. When we went down there first time, it was nighttime. I had no idea, because like I said, I haven't been looking at a map unless I've got one. I had no idea how big that peninsula was. When I went back the next day, I walked down there, had a little look around, got a little bit turned around, headed back, thought I was like back on the mainland, still on that peninsula, still finding loot, still more bases, bunkers, stuff like that. There's a lot down there. I haven't been looking at the map. So when I went to review at night, I thought it was quite small. I didn't even know that's where that big bunker was. Went back in the day and I was like, this place is fucking huge. There's loads here.
Yeah,
there's
it's
loads.
Deceptive. Here. It's deceptive. There's that little strip of land southwest that you cannot bloody see unless it's clear, right? So you go down there and you looks like you've just done a bit of a circular perimeter. You've gone round. But no, you follow that round. There's a whole new another military down there that I didn't even know about. And it stretches on for quite some time. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and also I know they were saying that you need two people to get into that bunker. I'm 99% certain, if Mark's still in chat, he can confirm you do not need to have someone with you to go in. You can do it solo.
You just got to shut the door and have a light source to open the second door.
You can do the main bunker solo, is my understanding.
Yeah, that's what I've been told as well.
You can do it.
So I've got a glow plug. I've got fuel on me. Do you need a card? Is there a punch card or something?
No, you don't need a card. No.
Okay. So I've heard people complaining though. I don't even know if this is a complaint. The feedback has been that it's a bit OP in the amount of loot that you get inside there. Now, these were comments from very early in the life of the service. I don't know whether that has resolved itself as loot gets out there and that, but I was hearing reports of people finding like 3 SVDs, AKs, plate carriers, everything in there, like from one run. And that when you have the glow plug doesn't get ruined, It just takes a bit of damage or whatever when you use it. So people can basically just keep on cycling that, and they'll end up with massive amounts of loot. Like they said, 2 of the SVDs even had suppressors on them. It's a bit OP for a relatively easy thing to do.
But what's to say they won't need a punch card on day one? What's not to say the bunker's here? Oh, this is where all the good loot is. Everybody now knows where the good loot is. Everybody runs down south. I need a punch card. Now you've instantly put in that. But everybody wants to know where the good loot is, where that military is. This the new map. It's effectively the new Tizzy or whatever you want to call it. It's the new place to be to get the best loot. And you want to showcase that so people know where it is and they're aware of it. But then day one, sorry guys, you need a punch card to get in now.
Yeah.
Very easily sorted.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. I mean, you need a punch card for Livonia bunker. Why would you not need a punch card for Sakhal?
Now, quick shill. I'm going to spam the links in chat, folks. If you need a server, please check out our partners, Lit Hosting. They run some of the greatest DayZ servers. If you're looking to try a server out yourself, definitely worth checking them out. They do shared servers, so don't do deadies. So it's a great way to test your feet or dip your toes in the water and see whether running a server is for you. And if it takes off, you can always look at going to a deady down the line. But they're just awesome. I love Lit Hosting. Drow's a top bloke. And wow, an ad unsubbed. Mate, one fucking ad. Don't worry, King Alex has got to do the Manscaped section soon. Just jokes.
I need a fucking Manscaped sponsor. I need a new beard trim. So come on, Manscaped.
The lawnmower. Link in the chat there, folks. Check them out. Plus, they're doing a giveaway at the moment as well. If you follow them and us on Twitter, you can potentially win a copy of Frostline on the 15th. So make sure you check that out. Always streams, go fuck yourself.
Good lad.
Cobra's got to do Raid Shadow Legends at the end of the show. That's his new.
You'll notice I don't do any on my videos. I don't take any of them.
Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much our policy. We'll only go with ones that sort of match us. I am trying to work on one still. I remember what you said, King Alex. Find some good sponsors for you so you can quit your job being the bodyguard for Belle Delphine and Belle Delphine, and get a real job. But yeah, okay. The last topic that I want to talk about is something that is a bit more serious: testicular health. Frames and performance. So it's getting late for you, Alex, isn't it?
I was wondering where the fuck you were going with that then. I was like, what? Where's this come from? This wasn't on the notes.
I actually did just add this one in as well, because it is an important thing that I've seen a lot of people talking about. There's a lot of opinions out there about it. I know I had some, I was streaming only in the Discord. I reduced my stream quality in the Discord to 720. And in that large town shortly where the little peninsula joins the two islands together, my frames went to absolute shit. I run a 2080 graphics card and some other shit that I don't really understand, but my computer is generally pretty good. But the frames in that city, my God, they went to shit. What have you guys been getting? Because I've been hearing a lot of people talk about the performance, especially when there's a lot of people around. And have you guys had any firefights in those big cities and towns and that? And what's it been like for you?
Alex, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I have to say performance has been really good. Really good. I did not expect it to be as good as it has. I've got a pretty decent rig. I run an i9 and a 4070. I've got a pretty decent rig.
Pretty decent, he says.
I haven't noticed that much of an issue, to be honest. And I've been multi-streaming all week, 1440p on YouTube and 1080 over on Twitch, recording it all on the same PC or while playing it. I have noticed a couple of times in certain spots, it feels like you do get some frame drops, but I've only noticed minor sort of frame drops. I feel like it's walking through a blizzard with all the trees, max settings with max view distance. I feel like there should be a massive performance hit, and there's just not. I think it's been made really fucking well, and I think that puts me in high hopes for the console community, because when I went up to the top of that volcano and I saw how far I could see, I was I was like, this looks amazing. But in the back of my head, I was like, how the fuck are they going to pull this off on like an Xbox or something? I don't know how far back. I assume you can get Frostline on all the older generation of consoles that you could get DayZ on, right?
But there's so many variables in this, Alex. In that you've got the increased view distance. You've got the blizzard effect that is happening on and off in the background as well. It's hard to put your finger on exactly what is causing the random frame drops that do seem to happen. Like I've seen people say, Cobra, that they've actually just bailed on PvP in the big cities because it's just too choppy for them. Have you had any experience?
Well, okay, so my rig is the i9. I've got the RTX 4090. Obviously, a very good machine. I've had no issues at all. Now, whether it's because of that or not, I'm not sure. There were people in those towns. There was a high level of detail, obviously, in the big city. I've not had. Actually, tell a lie. Let me rephrase that. I haven't until today. Now, I did switch server. In fact, I might as well tell you. I usually play EU1. I went on to EU2 today, and the ping is very similar to EU1, but there were a lot of lag issues on EU2, but not on EU1. So, and it's a better ping on EU2 as well, by about 5 to 10. So, the level of detail I've had no issues with. But there was a few situations on my stream today where all of a sudden I was getting hit by invisible Zeds from about a mile away. But I think that's just a performance issue from the servers. They've been running, they've been busy, those EU servers. But other than that, no, not really. No real issues at all.
It's just seems to be so random. But for the most part, most of the feedback I've heard, Alex, is around the big cities.
Yeah, I'm no Deer Isle expert. I haven't played it too much. What's the name of the city in Deer Isle? You go in it and your frames just disappear.
Oh, up north.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. Man. You go into the city and it's well known. You go in that city, you're not getting any fucking frames. It's so choppy. I've not had anything like that. Nothing like that at all. That's a particular, but I can't think of the name. Deer Isle's not my strong suit in terms of knowing it that well, but
I know it. I can't remember the bloody name.
Yeah, you know the one I mean.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
You go in the city and you're going to get some frame drops. It's just like it's where frames go to die. Portland, is that right? It could. Well, I don't know, guys. But I've had nothing like that. Nothing like that. There's been a couple of times when I've been running through the woods or something, or running out past the city, and I've kind of jiggled my mouse, and it's been a little bit choppy, but nothing unworkable. So I think they've done a really good job. But then again, I have a fairly decent rig, so I could be being biased.
Gentlemen, is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
For me, I think it's been to cover it all. To conclude, for me, I think it's been a very enjoyable week. Well, nearly a week since we've had access. I've really enjoyed the time being able to cover it. I think it's a really fantastic looking map. I personally can't wait to actually play it on the 15th and really get into it. I think a lot of effort, a lot of thought, a lot of really good assets have been brought into this. And you know what? I think I can see some people may not prefer it over some other maps. I can understand to a degree some of that because only of the mechanics, heating wise, having to fish kind of thing. But I cannot see a scenario where those servers aren't full up for quite some time. I think everyone's going to be on them. I think the modding community will be all over that very, very quickly. And I think overall they've done a really good job. It's hard to manage any events. And yes, there will always be some criticism. You can't please everybody all of the time. All in all, I'd say they've done a really good job on the event.
Yeah.
I think the map itself is exceptional in many different ways. And I love the fact they haven't just gone with the same old stuff. What they've done is they've gone, we're going to change this up. We're going to make this a bit different. Whether it's intended or not, some of it probably, most of it will be intended. But yeah, all in all, I think they've done a really good job, and I can't wait to get on with it and play it on the 15th.
Alex, summary?
Yeah, summary, and then I have one little thing which maybe I'll talk about, maybe I won't. I think I went into this thinking this was, I mean, in the back of my mind, I thought this is going to be a rip off the mouse. It's the easy thing to do, right? Just take a map, make it cold, put in the mouse mechanics, done, new map. And it's not that. It's not that at all. It's its own beast. It's incredible. It's more like a cold deer isle to me than it is in a mouse. I think it's great. I think they've really outdone themselves. I think if BI were a scummier, that's the second point I want to talk about. I think BI, if they were a scummier company, could have thrown a few new guns in, whacked a number 2 on the end of DayZ, and sold this.
We didn't even get a new gun with this, did we?
Well, no, because guns come out on normal all the time, don't they? You wouldn't.
Yeah, but they didn't release a new gun to go with this, so everything went into the map.
On the 15th. They might on the 15th, weren't they? But my point is, you could have whacked a couple more guns in this, and with how good it feels, how good it looks, how well it plays, you could have whacked a number 2 on this and sold it as a new game. I think it's an incredible effort from the BI team. Incredible effort. My second point is on the modders. And I think the flack that BI got this week was uncalled for. Nobody, especially here with the adopter modder scheme, is under any illusions that modders don't do fantastic work for the BI community. For the DayZ community, they do amazing work. Some of the things that these guys can do, they are fucking wizards. However, people need to remember that this isn't streamers getting early access because BI is doing it out the kindness of their heart. This is a marketing tactic. As much as some of these modders do a lot more than I do, than Cobra does, than many other streamers do for DayZ, this is a marketing opportunity. With a few exceptions, not many people are going to be queuing into a modder's stream to watch him play it, because that's just not how the modding game works compared to streamers. And I think they got a lot of unfair flack and I think a lot of the modding community, I can understand where they're coming from. I think they thought that they were being forgotten about and that they aren't appreciated. I would disagree. I think they are very appreciated. But unfortunately, this is just marketing. We're not playing it because BI likes to their market. Yeah, look, it's going to piss people off, but at the end of the day, it's a marketing scheme. That's just all it is. This gets more people watching it than modders, and modders have been letting. But I think they got a lot of unfair flack, and I think some people took it way too fucking far and will probably regret some of the things they've said and done in the future.
I'm not going to name names, but some people.
I think
I put out a tweet. It's okay to criticize, but some of the threats, some of the behavior was just borderline batshit fucking insane, and I'm going to drop the fucking word retarded. Absolutely fucking retarded.
How long do we make it then? How long do we make it? That's not bad. Hour 35 if he's done it.
Yeah, hour 35. It was.
Yeah,
and no, 100% what Scarspeeder says. Sometimes there are things they could have and they should have done, but some of the behavior about this was just way too far. It's okay to criticize folks, but when people are making threats of fucking security related threats and stuff like that regarding files and stuff like that, you're going way too far. You're going way too far. And you got to remember, BI have a legal team and they will fuck you up. And if you think that you're a fucking contract lawyer, I showed my missus one of the comments, and she works with contract law all the fucking time at her job. And she's not a contract lawyer, but she is brilliant at it. And she just sat there and laughed, and she goes, I always love these idiots who think they're fucking contract lawyers. Contract law is a fucking nightmare, an absolute nightmare. And yeah, I want to give one big shout out to everyone in the podcast Discord for being absolute chads with the use of spoilers, even within the Sakhal discussion thread. People saying, oh, you should probably mark that as a spoiler. So, we've tried as much as possible. I know this whole stream is spoiler territory, but that's why it's called what it is, so that people can be aware of that. But there's been a lot of good information shared and a lot of people using the spoiler function in there just so that people aren't going to unknowingly just scroll onto something and go, well, that just fucking ruined it. Thank you all for being the Giga Chads you fucking are. Cobra, you said you've got another point, and then after that, I've got a video that we all have to watch.
Right. One big final point from me, and I hope this is the case, all right? It got brought up in chat earlier. One line brought up in chat earlier, but it's such a good point, and it was something I was going to say regardless. I think with Frostline, when it hits on the 15th, I hope to God that the team at DayZ make it so you cannot server hop from a Chernarus or a Livonia server into Frostline. Because if we do that, it takes away the whole point of all this new stuff.
Well, you're just going to have people bringing over dozens of fucking Western weapons and all the rest of it when they seem to be uber fucking rare.
Well, I'm talking more on the survival side of it. I think there has to be, well, at least there has to be. I hope the team have done something on the 15th so that every time you play Frostline, you are a new character. You cannot transfer the loot or your clothing, anything over. I think you need to have a new life there. I hope that's the case.
I hadn't even thought of that. It's a very good point.
Very, very good point. Okay. We are about to watch a video. Share video. I understand. Let's proceed. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's go here. Then let's go here. Let's go here. And then let's go here.
Break the stream. Here we go.
Okay, we are recording. Go for it. We've got Lad, we've got DOJ, and right now we have got him opening the present that Ike Aussie made for us on behalf of our... That is a pretty cool little knife. Oh, BI knife. You have to send me it. But they could have at least made it like the hunting knife in DayZ. Yep.
What?
Dalatu Muhammad Imam is now following. Thank you so much for the follow, brother. We're not even streaming and we've got people following us. I'm famous.
Yeah, I'm a wanker.
Yeah, you are.
Give me a sec.
No one.
Give me a sec. This doesn't seem to be getting both sides of the audio. So what I will do is just change the share screen window.
I don't think you've got any audio now.
Okay, I'm just going to end that. And we'll start that again. Because it seemed like it was going... Okay, confirm if you can hear the audio. Can you hear it?
Nah.
No.
Oh, hang about. Do I need to...
Have you actually turned it on sound-wise on the screen? Your screen there?
Yeah. It's on 100%.
So you've not muted the others? No. Right.
Let's try it again. I understand. Bada boom, bada bing. Doesn't look like it's going to let me, folks.
You have to give us a blow-by-blow account.
Well, you can talk through it, mate, can't you?
Do little impressions and everything while we watch along.
Hang on, let me just try something.
You've done it for the there you go.
Every time without fail.
He's gone, mate. He's gone, isn't he? He's done it.
No.
But the thing is, a lot. Oh, here we go. Here we go. He's back.
Oh, he's back. He's back. I'm big now. There we go.
Okay, we are recording. Go for it. We've got Lad, we've got DOJ, and right now we have got him opening the present that Ike Aussie made for us on behalf of our... That is a pretty cool little knife. Oh, BI knife. You have to send me...
Yeah,
We could have
no
at least
audio
made it
from
like
the
a
other
hunting
side.
knife in DayZ.
I'm going to have to edit it. And you can't hear DOJ, though. Or can you? Can you guys hear him?
Hold on.
Dalatu Muhammad Imam is now following. Thank
No.
you so much for the follow, brother. We're not even streaming and we've got people following us. I'm famous. Yeah, you are. To no one.
Well, that is
no
a
audio,
bummer.
mate.
That is a bummer. I don't. That's quite disappointing. And there's no quick way to fix that because I'll need to edit it. So I'm going to have to hold on that. I will be uploading this to the YouTube channel. Yeah, he's talking. You can hear his audio, and it's really important that you guys hear it because there was a lot of conversation about the gift that we had made for him by Ike Aussie. Oh God, that would suck if I didn't record multiple audio tracks. Should have. I recorded it in Streamlabs OBS, so it should have been fine. But if I haven't recorded the audio of that, that would be such a fucking Boydie thing to do, wouldn't it?
Well,
No. You could hear it. You could hear it in the actual file. So it's just, not showing. So what I might do is jump into Discord after the show, and anyone who wants to watch the unboxing can watch it in there with me in one of the stages. But I think we'll end the show there. Oh God, how do I turn this video off?
We need to get you a little PA, mate. You know, what's his name on the Joe Rogan show? Jamie. We need to get you a Jamie.
Yeah, we do. What have I done now? Fuck me.
Jamie, pull that up.
Yeah.
back to us in a minute.
I've tried. Put it in the new. Yeah, I did. I had it in another window, and it just actually no. There's one more option. I've got one more option.
Oh,
Share screen. Boom. Hang on. Share screen, entire screen.
Just don't look good, Boydie. I think Boydie's frozen. He's killed it, mate. He's killed it all. Oh, dear.
Oh,
Well,
I love it. He's a fucking gem, that bloke. I don't know how he does it consistently every week. Oh, I fucking lost it when he said, "Let me try this," and just vanished.
well,
What a
I guess
guy.
we're gonna have to clear up the show on our own, then, mate. This
Did
is
you
the
have
most
anyone-
Boydie shit I've ever seen? It is the OJ, absolutely. I reckon the OJ could probably play it right now.
He fucking kills me, that bloke. Oh,
Oh dear. How is this
Into
still
the down
happening after
unders,
206 episodes?
We need to get a tick-off. We need to get an on-screen bingo thing that is Boydie saying retard, Boydie getting his feet out, Boydie crashing the screen, and we can tick them off as the stream goes along.
Yeah, he's going to hit at least 2 of those every week. He had his arse out the other day. I don't know what he was getting up to there. Can you hear him? We can't hear anything, mate. We can hear ourselves.
He's vanished. Boydie has tried to play a video on stream, and he is
Oh, here he is.
There he is.
Did you guys hear anything then?
No. Yeah. Are you still trying to get that done? Can you hear us? Oh.
Can you hear it all now?
I can't hear anything. I can't even hear you now.
No. No, can't hear anything, mate.
Should be able to now.
No.
Okay. We'll do it in Discord. I'm sorry, guys. That was very, 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 that was worse than usual for me, but that's a limitation of this platform, it seems. So that's the feedback I'll have to pass on to them. Okay. Thank you all so much, everyone. Great show. Last but not least, the independent DayZ event calendar. We've got a number of things to quickly shout out. We can't miss this. iRady goes in every week and updates this for us. So we've got the Hellcart Hard Home Server launch event in memory of Luther Del Mordain, a remarkable member of the DayZ community who passed away a few weeks ago. OGT is dedicating the launch event of his Hard Home Halloween Melcart server to him. Let's get together and have some fun in honor of Luther, who loved the Melcart map. Even those who know the Hard Home servers and their special twist might be surprised at what the team has prepared for you. That was really sad hearing about that as well. I didn't know him well, but losing anyone in the community that you're part of is always bad. The Vigrid Battle Royale churners looking for some hot Battle Royale action. Join the original Vigrid BR experience this Friday. Also, Sergeant Pepper's Battle Royale event on Saturday, hosted by Sergeant Pepper's Invasion Service with the support of Team Vigrid. Win 1 of 2 rounds to get your hands on the upcoming DayZ Frostline expansion when it launches. As always, find all essential details in the DayZ event calendar. Link in the Discord for them as well, folks. Does a great job over there. Someone suggested opening it in editing software. I'm not going to bother. I've wasted enough time. The guys have been up late. Cobra definitely needs his beauty sleep. Not as much as King Alex, though. Yeah. Guys, all in all, it's a win, this DLC for me. I'm having so much fun with it. I'm expecting the tide will turn a bit, but yeah. You guys?
No, I agree. It's everything gets some criticism, but they've done a great job.
I think you're being too pessimistic, mate. I think this is the DayZ community. Everything's handled moderately and reasonably. I think it's going to be received amazingly by everybody.
Oh man, you fit in so fucking well, brother.
I do think it's going to be. I think it will get less backlash than some people are expecting. I do think it is. I think it'll be really, really well received.
I will say I've been honestly pleasantly surprised by some people who I expected to moan and groan and carry on, who've been quite excited and loving it. And the majority of the feedback I've seen about things has been quite tempered and quite just well presented. But it's only week 1 down. We've got another week with more people joining these servers around the world. And then finally, everyone else will be able to get their grubby little hands on it and experience stuff. And all those poor buggers who are on a media blackout will finally be able to start watching their favorite creators again once they've managed to get their hands on it as well. But all the best, everyone. Remember, keep keep saving your points. I meant to do some giveaways today. I've got games to give away. I keep forgetting. Please remind me next week. But we had a lot to cover this week, so I probably would have made this an even longer episode. But yeah, I'll be jumping into the stage in the podcast Discord, discord.gg/878 Survivor FM, for those who want to watch the unboxing of the tree, and I'll be uploading that to our YouTube as well. All the best, everyone. See you next week.
Take care.